Jake Martinez wiped the sweat from his forehead as he walked out of the construction site. The Phoenix sun was still burning hot, even though it was nearly 6 in the evening. His hard hat felt heavy on his head, and his work boots were covered in dust. All he wanted was to go home, grab a cold beer, and watch some TV. "Hey, Jake, you coming with me, or what?" Danny called out from across the parking lot. Danny was Jake's work buddy, and had been talking about some blood drive all week. "Come on, man, it's just around the corner at the community center. They got free cookies and juice boxes." Jake really did not want to go anywhere except home. His back was sore from carrying heavy materials all day, but Danny kept walking toward him with that stupid grin on his face. "Look, they need people to donate blood. It takes like 20 minutes, and then you get to eat cookies. When was the last time you did something good for someone else?" That hit Jake right in the feelings. Danny knew exactly what to say to make him feel bad. Jake had not done much charity work lately. Actually, he had not done any charity work in a long time. Maybe giving blood would make him feel better about himself. "Fine, but you're buying me dinner after this," Jake said as he threw his hard hat into his truck. The community center was busy when they arrived. There were people walking in and out, and Jake could see a big red bus parked outside with American Red Cross written on the side. Inside the building, volunteers were setting up tables and chairs. The whole place smelled like antiseptic and cookies. A friendly woman with gray hair walked up to them. Her name tag said Linda Thompson, and she had the biggest smile Jake had ever seen. "Hello, boys. Are you here to donate blood today?" "That's wonderful. We really need donors right now." Linda handed them both clipboards with forms attached. The forms had a lot of questions about health and travel and other stuff Jake had never thought about. "Have you been to certain countries? Have you had any diseases? Do you take any medications?" Jake answered everything honestly, which was mostly no to everything. While Jake filled out his form, he looked around the room. There were about 15 other people there. Some were sitting in chairs, getting their blood drawn. Others were waiting their turn. Everyone seemed calm and happy. A woman with brown hair was sitting at a table nearby, also filling out forms. "First time donating?" the woman asked Jake. She had kind eyes and looked like she might be a teacher or something. "Yeah, my friend Danny here talked me into it," Jake replied, pointing to Danny, who was still struggling with his paperwork. "I'm Amy Clark. I've been donating for about 5 years now. It's really easy, and you feel good afterward knowing you helped someone." Amy smiled and went back to her forms. After Jake finished his paperwork, Linda called him over to a small desk. She checked his answers and then pricked his finger to test his iron levels. "Perfect," she said. "Now let's check your blood pressure." The blood pressure cuff squeezed his arm tight. Linda looked at the numbers and nodded. "Excellent. You're in great health, Jake. Are you ready to donate?" Jake followed Linda to a comfortable chair that looked like it belonged in a dentist's office. She cleaned his arm with something cold and then prepared the needle. "You'll feel a little pinch, but then it's smooth sailing," she said. The needle did pinch, but not too bad. Jake watched as his blood started flowing through a tube into a plastic bag. The bag had his name written on a label and some numbers he did not understand. Linda attached the bag to a scale that would weigh it. "How long does this take?" Jake asked. "About 8 to 10 minutes for most people. You just relax and let your body do the work." Linda checked on other donors while Jake sat there. Danny was in the chair next to him now, making jokes about being a vampire victim. Amy Clark was across the room, reading a magazine while her blood bag filled up. Everything seemed normal and boring, just like Jake expected. But then Jake noticed something weird. The overhead lights were those bright fluorescent ones that made everything look harsh and white. But when the light hit his blood bag, it seemed to shimmer. Not like glitter or anything obvious, just a strange shimmer that made his blood look different from everyone else's. "Hey, Linda," Jake called out. "Is my blood supposed to look like that?" Linda came over and looked at his bag. She tilted it back and forth under the light. "Look like what, honey?" "It's kind of shimmering or something. Like it has sparkles in." "It?" Linda laughed. "Oh, that's just the lighting in here. These fluorescent bulbs make everything look strange. Your blood is perfectly normal, Jake. Beautiful and red and healthy." Jake was not convinced, but he did not want to argue. Maybe Linda was right. Maybe it was just the lights playing tricks on his eyes. He had been working in the sun all day, so maybe his vision was a little off. When the scale showed that his bag was full, Linda came back over. She removed the needle and put a bandage on his arm. "All done. You donated almost a full pint." "That's fantastic." Jake felt a little dizzy when he stood up, but Linda quickly guided him to a table with snacks. "Sit here and have some juice and cookies. Don't get up too fast for the next few minutes." The cookies were actually pretty good, and the orange juice tasted great. Danny finished his donation a few minutes later and joined Jake at the snack table. Amy Clark was also there, eating a granola bar. "See, that wasn't so bad," Danny said, stuffing a cookie in his mouth. "Yeah, it was easy," Jake agreed. He did feel good about helping people, even if he did not know exactly who would get his blood. Linda came over with a card for Jake. "This has information about donating again. You can come back in 8 weeks if you want to. We always need donors, especially people with healthy blood like yours." Jake put the card in his wallet, though he was not sure if he would actually come back. Once was probably enough good deed for a while. As they were leaving, Jake looked back at the donation area. He could see his blood bag sitting with others on a table, waiting to be processed. Even from across the room, he could swear it still looked different, more alive somehow. But that was crazy thinking. "Come on, let's get some real food," Danny said, pulling Jake toward the exit. Outside, the sun was finally setting, and the air was getting cooler. Jake felt normal again, maybe even a little better than normal. His back did not hurt as much, and he felt more awake than he had in weeks. What Jake did not know was that high above the Earth, in the darkness of space, alien sensors had detected something unusual. The moment his blood entered the collection system, alarms started going off on ships hidden behind the moon. His blood contained something they had been searching for across the galaxy. Something that would change everything. 3 weeks after the blood drive, Jake was up on a scaffold installing windows on the 15th floor of a new office building. The work was going well, and he felt better than he had in months. His back did not hurt anymore, and he was not getting tired as easily. Danny kept joking that Jake must be taking vitamins or something. "You're like a machine today," Danny said, as he watched Jake carry 2 heavy window frames at once. "Yesterday, you moved that steel beam by yourself. What's gotten into you?" Jake did not know what to say. He felt stronger and faster, but he did not want to think about it too much. Maybe he was just in better shape from all the construction. Worked out at exactly 11:30 in the morning. Everything changed. The sky above Phoenix suddenly went dark. Not like clouds dark, but like something huge was blocking out the sun. Jake looked up and saw the biggest thing he had ever seen in his life. It was a ship, but not like any airplane or helicopter. This thing was the size of a football stadium, and it was just floating there in the air. "What the hell is that?" Danny shouted all around the construction site. Workers were stopping what they were doing and pointing at the sky. Car alarms were going off in the streets below. People were running out of buildings to look up. Jake's phone started buzzing with emergency alerts. The radio in the site trailer was crackling with news reports. Similar ships were appearing over every major city in the world: New York, Los Angeles, London, Tokyo, Moscow, everywhere. "This is not a test," came a voice over the emergency broadcast system. "Unknown aircraft are hovering over major population centers worldwide. Citizens are advised to remain calm and stay indoors until further notice." But Jake could not stay calm. Something about the ship made him feel strange. Not scared exactly, but alert, like every nerve in his body was waking up. His vision seemed sharper too. He could see details on the ship that should have been too far away to make out. The foreman, a guy named Pete, was running around telling everyone to get down from the scaffolding. Everybody to ground level now. We don't know what these things are going to do. As Jake climbed down, he noticed that his hands were not shaking like everyone else's. Danny looked terrified, but Jake felt oddly calm. More than calm, he felt ready for something, though he did not know what. On the ground, workers were gathered around radios and phones, trying to get information. The news was chaotic. Military jets were scrambling, but keeping their distance from the alien ships. World leaders were calling for calm while preparing for the worst. And the ships started talking. Voice came from everywhere at once. Not from radios or phones, but somehow from the air itself. It spoke perfect English, though it sounded strange, like someone was trying very hard to pronounce each word correctly. "People of Earth, we greet you in peace. We are the Zelani Collective. We come from far across the galaxy with friendship and offers of cooperation. Please do not fear us. We wish only to establish diplomatic relations with your species." The voice was followed by an image that appeared in the sky above each ship. It showed a tall, elegant being with smooth features and skin that looked like it was made of crystal. Beautiful and alien, but somehow not threatening. "We are Ambassador Keth9, speaking for our people. We have traveled many light years to reach your world because we believe humans and Zelani can benefit each other greatly. We ask your leaders to meet with us so we can discuss how our peoples can work together." The image faded and the ships just hung there. Waiting. Jake felt something strange happening to his body. His heart was beating faster, but not from fear. It was like his blood was moving differently through his veins. Everything around him looked clearer and brighter. He could hear conversations from across the construction site that should have been too quiet to understand. "Jake, you okay, man?" Danny asked. "You look weird." Jake touched his face. His skin felt warm and somehow more alive. "I feel fine. Better than fine, actually." Over the next few hours, the world went crazy trying to figure out what to do. The president made a speech saying the United States would approach the situation carefully. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Military forces around the world were put on high alert, but the alien ships did nothing aggressive. Jake went home early that day, like most people did. But instead of feeling tired from the stress, he felt energized. On the drive home, he noticed his reflexes were faster. When a car suddenly stopped in front of him, he avoided an accident with movements that surprised even him. At home, Jake tried to act normal, but everything felt different. Colors seemed brighter. Sounds were clearer. He could smell things he had never noticed before, like the different types of wood in his furniture, or the metal in his pipes. That evening, the aliens made another announcement. They said they were interested in cultural exchange programs and scientific cooperation. They wanted to study human biology and share their advanced technology. They specifically mentioned being fascinated by human genetic diversity and adaptability. "We have observed your species for some time," Ambassador Keth9 said in the broadcast. "Humans possess remarkable qualities that could benefit both our peoples. We propose to begin with small exchanges. Some of your people would visit our ships to learn about our culture, while some of our people would study your world." Jake was watching the news when something made his blood run cold. The alien was talking about selecting specific individuals based on their genetic markers and biological compatibility. They wanted people who showed certain traits that would make them good ambassadors between the species. The next morning, Jake went to work despite the chaos in the world. Most businesses were closed, but construction sites were still operating because the government wanted to keep things as normal as possible. Jake felt even stronger than the day before. When he carried materials that usually required 2 people, other workers started staring at him. "Dude, you're freaking me out," Danny said. "Yesterday, you were normal, Jake. Today, you're like Superman or something." Jake could not deny it anymore. Something was happening to him. During lunch break, he tested himself. He could lift things. That should have been impossible. His vision was so sharp, he could read signs from blocks away. When he accidentally cut his hand on a piece of metal, the wound healed completely in less than an hour. That afternoon, Dr. Patricia Wong at the clinic. Downtown was overwhelmed with people coming in with strange symptoms. Most were just stressed about the aliens, but a few patients were showing unusual changes. Enhanced reflexes, improved vision, faster healing. All of them had one thing in common. They had donated blood recently. Jake decided to see Dr. Wong after work. The waiting room was packed, but when he walked in, something strange happened. Dr. Wong took one look at him from across the room and immediately called him back to her office. "Mr. Martinez, I need to run some tests on you right away," she said, looking concerned and excited at the same time. "How did you know my name? I haven't checked in yet." "Because you look exactly like I expected you would. You donated blood 3 weeks ago, didn't you?" Jake nodded. Confused, Dr. Wong ran blood tests, checked his reflexes, and measured his strength. Everything came back perfect. Better than perfect. "Mr. Martinez, your blood work is unlike anything I've ever seen. Your white blood cell count is through the roof, but you're not sick. Your muscle density is increasing. Your neural responses are faster than humanly possible." "What does that mean?" "I don't know yet, but you're not the first person I've seen like this today. All of you donated blood recently, and all of you are changing." That evening, as Jake was trying to process what Dr. Wong had told him, there was a knock at his door. 2 people in black suits were standing on his porch. The woman showed him an FBI badge. "Mr. Martinez, I'm Agent Lisa Park. This is Agent Tony Cruz. We need to talk to you about your recent blood donation and some changes you might be experiencing." Jake's enhanced senses could tell they were nervous despite their calm appearance. He could hear their hearts beating faster and smell the stress hormones they were releasing. "We know this is confusing," Agent Park continued as they sat in his living room, "but your name appeared on a list that the aliens provided to our government. They specifically requested you for their cultural exchange program." "What list?" "The aliens have technology that can analyze genetic markers from a distance. When you donated blood, it triggered something in their scanning systems. You have something they want, Mr. Martinez. Something they've been looking for across the galaxy." Jake felt his blood turn cold. The aliens had not come in peace to make friends. They had come looking for specific people. People like him. And now they knew exactly where to find him. Agent Park drove Jake to a building he had never seen before, even though he had lived in Phoenix his whole life. It looked like a regular office building from the outside, but inside it was full of military equipment and people in lab coats. They took him down several floors underground to a room that felt more like a bunker than an office. "Mr. Martinez, I want you to meet Dr. Kevin Ross," Agent Park said as they entered a room full of computers and screens. "He's been studying the alien situation since they arrived." Dr. Ross was a thin man with messy hair who looked like he had not slept in days. His desk was covered with papers and empty coffee cups. When he saw Jake, his eyes got wide. Another one, Dr. Ross said, standing up quickly. Let me guess. Enhanced strength, better vision, faster healing, and you donated blood recently. How did you know all that? Because you're the 15th person we've brought in with the exact same symptoms. All blood donors from the past month, all showing the same genetic markers that the aliens are interested in. Dr. Ross pulled up a chair and sat across from Jake. I need to tell you something that's going to be very hard to hear. The aliens didn't come here for friendship or cultural exchange. They came here for you, specifically for people like you. Jake felt his stomach drop. What do you mean? The Zelani Collective is a dying species. They've been traveling across the galaxy for thousands of years, looking for other species that can help them survive. Their genetic diversity collapsed long ago, and they can't reproduce successfully anymore. Dr. Ross showed Jake pictures on his computer screen. Images of other planets, other species, all of them extinct or nearly extinct. They find species with genetic compatibility and use them as breeding stock. They take the individuals with the best genetic markers and force them to produce hybrid offspring. The process usually kills the host species within a generation or two, but it allows the Zelani to continue existing. Jake felt sick. You're saying they want to use us to make alien babies? That's exactly what I'm saying. The cultural exchange program is a lie. They're going to take people like you up to their ships and use you in genetic experiments. The beautiful, peaceful aliens are actually predators who destroy entire civilizations to keep themselves alive. Agent Park showed Jake more files. We've been intercepting their communications. They call humans perfect breeding stock because of our genetic adaptability. They think they can create a hybrid species that has human creativity and adaptability, combined with Zelani technology and longevity. But why me specifically? Dr. Ross leaned forward. Your blood contains a rare combination of genetic factors. Less than 1 in 10 million humans have what you have. The aliens can detect these markers from orbit using their scanning technology. When you donated blood, it gave them a perfect sample to analyze. What about the changes happening to me? That's your body preparing for genetic compatibility. The aliens have been bombarding Earth with low-level energy that activates dormant genes in people with your genetic markers. You're becoming more than human, but it's not permanent. If the process continues, it will eventually kill you. Jake stood up and started pacing around the room. This was too much to handle. A few weeks ago, he was just a construction worker. Now he was apparently some kind of genetic gold mine for alien breeding experiments. How many people are we talking about? Jake asked. Worldwide, maybe a few thousand with markers as strong as yours. They've already started requesting specific individuals for their exchange program. World leaders are trying to negotiate, but the aliens are getting impatient. Agent Park pulled up another screen showing news footage from around the world. They've started demonstrations of their power. Small ones so far, but it's clear they have weapons that could destroy our cities if we don't cooperate. So what happens now? That depends on you and people like you, Dr. Ross said. We found something interesting about the enhanced individuals. The same genetic markers that make you valuable to the aliens also make you immune to their mind. Control technology. Normal humans can be mentally dominated by Zelani devices, but not you. Jake felt a small spark of hope. So we can fight back? Potentially. But first, we need you to meet the others. They took Jake to another room where 3 other people were sitting around a table. A woman with dark hair who looked like she worked in a hospital, a big guy who had the build of a firefighter, and an Asian woman who looked like she spent her time behind a computer. Jake Martinez, meet Maria Santos, Ben Parker, and Lisa Chong. Agent Park said, they all have the same genetic markers you do, and they've all been experiencing the same changes. Maria stood up and shook Jake's hand. Her grip was stronger than any woman's he had ever felt. "I'm a nurse from Houston. 2 weeks ago, I could barely lift a patient by myself. Yesterday, I moved a hospital bed with someone still in it." Ben nodded. From his chair, "Fire department in Portland. My reflexes are so fast now that I caught a falling child from a third-story window. Shouldn't have been possible, but I did it anyway." Lisa was typing on a laptop while she talked. "Software engineer from San Francisco. My brain is processing information faster than any computer I've ever used. I can see patterns in code that I never noticed before. We're all changing," Maria continued, "but Dr. Ross says it's temporary. If we don't find a way to stop the alien energy, we'll burn out like light bulbs." Dr. Ross joined them at the table. "The good news is that the changes make you incredibly capable. Stronger, faster, smarter than normal humans. The bad news is that you're still vulnerable to the genetic harvesting process. If the aliens get their hands on you, they can still use you for breeding, even with your enhancements." "So what's the plan?" Ben asked. "We don't have one yet," Agent Park admitted. "World governments are stalling the aliens as long as possible, but they're demanding the first group of exchange candidates within 48 hours. If we don't hand over people from their list, they've threatened to start taking them by force." Jake looked around the table at the other enhanced humans. "Are we all on their list?" "You're the top priorities," Dr. Ross confirmed. "The aliens want you far more than anyone else on the planet. Your genetic markers are so strong that your offspring would have the best chance of surviving the hybridization process." "That's disgusting," Lisa said, her fingers moving faster across her keyboard. "I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They talk about us like we're livestock." Maria stood up and walked to the window. Even though they were underground, she seemed to be looking up at the sky where the alien ships waited. "My grandmother always said that when someone shows you who they really are, you should believe them. These aliens have shown us exactly what they are." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "They're parasites. They travel from world to world, using up species and moving on. They've probably done this thousands of times before. Earth is just their latest hunting ground." Ben cracked his knuckles, and Jake could hear the sound was much louder than it should have been. "So we fight them." "How?" Agent Park asked. "They have technology that's thousands of years ahead of ours. Their ships could level our cities in minutes. But they need us alive," Jake realized. "They can't just kill everyone, because then they wouldn't have anyone to breed with. That gives us an advantage." Dr. Ross nodded. "That's right. They have to be careful not to damage their breeding stock. But they also have ways of controlling normal humans mentally. Most of our military and government officials could be dominated if the aliens decided to use their full power." "Except us," Lisa said, still typing rapidly. "We're immune to their mind control. We're stronger and faster than normal humans. And we know what they're really planning." Jake felt something click into place in his enhanced mind. "We need to rescue the other people like us before the aliens take them. And we need to find a way to warn everyone about what's really happening." "The governments already know," Agent Park said. "But the people don't," Maria added. "Everyone thinks the aliens are here for peace and cooperation. They don't know about the breeding programs or the extinct species." Jake stood up, feeling more determined than he had ever felt in his life. "And we tell them. And we find every enhanced human we can before the aliens collect their breeding stock." "That's impossible," Dr. Ross said. "There are thousands of you scattered across the planet. We don't even know where most of you are." "Then we start with the ones we can find," Ben said. "And we make the aliens regret choosing Earth as their next hunting ground." Jake looked around the table at his fellow enhanced humans. A few weeks ago, they had been ordinary people living ordinary lives. Now they were possibly humanity's only hope of avoiding extinction through forced breeding. When do we start? Jake asked. Agent Park checked her watch. The aliens expect their first exchange candidates tomorrow morning. If we're going to do something, it has to be tonight. Then let's get to work, Jake said, feeling his enhanced senses sharpen with determination. The aliens had made one critical mistake. They had made humans stronger in order to use them. Now those same humans were going to use that strength to fight back. The next morning, world leaders announced they would not be sending anyone to the alien ships. President Helen Carter stood at a podium and told the world the truth about what the aliens really wanted. The response from the Zalani was swift and terrifying. 3 of their smaller ships descended over major cities and used some kind of energy weapon that shut down all electronics within a 50-mile radius. Cars stopped working, phones went dead, and power grids failed. The message was clear: cooperate or face the consequences. Jake and his team were at a military base outside Phoenix when the demonstration happened. Colonel Steve Harrison, a tough-looking man with gray hair, was explaining their new situation to the enhanced humans. As of this morning, we're officially at war with an alien species, Colonel Harrison said. Our conventional weapons are useless against their technology, and they can control the minds of our soldiers from a distance. That leaves us with you 4 and about 24 other enhanced individuals we've managed to locate. Dr. Ross and Dr. Amanda Foster, a brilliant scientist who had joined their team, were working frantically at computers covered with data about alien technology and human genetics. We've made some discoveries, Dr. Foster announced. The energy field that's enhancing you also creates a kind of interference pattern that disrupts Zalani technology. When enhanced humans work together, you can overload their systems. How does that help us? Maria asked. It means you can get close to their ships and installations without being detected or controlled, Colonel Harrison explained. We've identified several locations where they're holding captured humans for experimentation. Your job is to get them out. Jake felt his enhanced senses picking up details about everyone in the room. He could hear heartbeats, smell stress hormones, and see micro-expressions that revealed what people were really thinking. Colonel Harrison was scared but determined. Dr. Foster was excited about the scientific possibilities. Dr. Ross was exhausted, but hopeful. What about weapons? Ben asked. Standard military equipment doesn't work well near alien technology, Colonel Harrison replied. But Dr. Foster has been working on something special. Dr. Foster showed them a table covered with strange-looking devices. These are resonance disruptors. They use the same energy signature as your enhanced biology to interfere with Zalani equipment. Think of them as high-tech noisemakers. Lisa picked up one of the devices and examined it. Her enhanced mind quickly understood how it worked. Clever. These create feedback loops in their control systems. It won't destroy their ships, but it should disable their local defenses. The first target is a facility in downtown Chicago, Colonel Harrison said, pointing to satellite images on a screen. Intelligence suggests they're holding about 50 captured humans there, including several enhanced individuals who were taken. During the night, Jake studied the images. The building looked normal from the outside, but his enhanced vision could see details that others missed. Energy patterns, unusual shadows, small modifications to the structure that suggested alien technology inside. When do we leave? Jake asked. 2 hours. You'll be dropped outside the city and make your way in on foot. The electromagnetic interference from the alien ship makes air support impossible. During the flight to Chicago, Jake had time to think about how much his life had changed. A month ago, he was complaining about sore muscles from construction work. Now he was flying in a military transport to rescue people from aliens who wanted to use humans for breeding experiments. Maria sat across from him, checking equipment with the efficiency of someone who had spent years in emergency medicine. You? No, before all this started, I was thinking about quitting nursing. The hours were terrible, and the pay was worse. What are you thinking now? Jake asked. That maybe this is what I was meant to do. Save people, I mean, just not the way I expected. Ben was sleeping in his seat, but Jake could tell from his breathing that he was not really asleep. His enhanced senses were probably on alert for any sign of danger. Lisa was working on a tablet, analyzing building schematics and alien technology. Patterns. When they reached Chicago, the alien ship's electromagnetic field forced them to land 20 miles outside the city. From there, they would have to travel on foot through a dead zone where nothing electronic worked. The city looked wrong as they approached it. Street lights were out, cars were abandoned in the middle of roads, and there were no signs of normal human activity. But Jake's enhanced senses could detect something else, the smell of fear and the sound of heartbeats from hidden humans. People are hiding, Jake whispered to the others. I can hear them in basements and upper floors. The aliens probably have patrols, Ben replied quietly. Normal humans would be easy to control or capture. They made their way through empty streets toward the target building. Jake's construction experience helped him navigate the urban environment, while Ben's firefighter training kept them away from dangerous areas. Maria's medical knowledge helped them understand what they might find at the facility, and Lisa's technical skills allowed her to predict how alien technology might be integrated. Into the building. As they got closer to the target, Jake started feeling something strange. His enhanced senses were picking up energy patterns that made his skin tingle. There's something ahead, something that doesn't feel human. They crouched behind abandoned cars and looked at the building Dr. Foster had identified. From the outside, it still looked like a normal office building, but Jake could see shimmering barriers around the windows and doors that normal humans would not notice. Zelani technology, Lisa whispered, pulling out her scanner. The whole building is wrapped in some kind of containment field. Can we get through it? Maria asked. Jake stood up slowly, testing his enhanced senses against the alien barrier. I think so. It feels like it's designed to keep normal humans in and out, but we're not normal anymore. They approached the building carefully. Jake reached out to touch the shimmering barrier and felt it give way like thick water. His enhanced biology was indeed interfering with the alien technology. Inside the building, they found horror. The aliens had converted the office space into a kind of laboratory. Humans were being held in containment cells while Zelani scientists performed tests on them. Jake could hear the heartbeats of terrified people and smell the chemicals the aliens were using for their experiments. This is worse than Dr. Ross described, Maria whispered as they saw humans connected to alien machines. Stay focused, Ben said, but Jake could hear the anger in his voice. We get everyone out, then we make the aliens pay for this. They used Dr. Foster's resonance disruptors to disable the containment fields. The alien technology sparked and went dead as the devices interfered with the control systems. Humans who had been trapped for days were suddenly free, but freeing. The prisoners triggered alarms throughout the building. Jake's enhanced hearing picked up the sound of Zelani guards moving through the upper floors. We've got company, Jake warned the others. The first Zelani warrior Jake encountered was 7 feet tall with crystalline skin and weapons that looked like they were grown rather than manufactured. It moved with liquid grace and struck with incredible speed. But Jake's enhanced reflexes were faster. The fight was brutal but brief. Jake discovered that his enhanced strength could actually damage Zelani armor, while their weapons had trouble targeting his rapidly moving form. When the warrior fell, Jake felt a mixture of satisfaction and horror. He had just killed a sentient being. Even if that being was part of a species, trying to enslave humanity. Ben and Maria were helping rescued humans evacuate, while Lisa worked to gather intelligence from alien computers. "Jake, you need to see this," she called out. On the alien screens were lists of names, genetic profiles, and breeding schedules. Thousands of humans marked for capture and experimentation. Jake's name was at the top of the priority list, along with estimated offspring survival rates and genetic compatibility scores. "They're not just planning to use us," Lisa said, her enhanced mind processing the information rapidly. "They're planning to replace us, create a hybrid species, and eliminate pure humans entirely." More alarms were sounding throughout the building. Jake could hear aircraft approaching from outside. "Time to go," Ben announced as the last of the rescued. Humans made it to the exits. They fought their way out of the building as more Zelani guards arrived. Jake's team discovered that working together, their enhanced abilities could overwhelm even advanced alien technology. Ben's tactical training, Maria's medical efficiency, Lisa's technical knowledge, and Jake's instinctive understanding of structural weaknesses made them an incredibly effective unit. But as they escaped with the rescued humans, Jake realized something important. The fight had changed him and the others even more. Their enhanced abilities were continuing to develop. They were becoming something new, something that was no longer entirely human, but was definitely better equipped to fight the aliens. Flight back to base, Colonel Harrison debriefed them about what they had found. Intelligence estimates there are at least 50 more facilities like this around the world. The aliens are processing humans on an industrial scale. Then we hit. "All of them," Jake said simply. "With 4 people?" 2 months after the first rescue mission, everything had changed. Jake and his team had grown from 4 enhanced humans to over 200. They had rescued thousands of captured humans from alien facilities and learned to use their evolving abilities as weapons against Zelani technology. But the aliens were getting desperate. Prime geneticist Veth Prime, the leader of the Zelani collective, appeared on every screen and communication device on Earth. The beautiful crystalline features that had once seemed peaceful now looked cold and threatening. "Humans of Earth, you have interfered with our sacred mission for the last time. We came to your world offering partnership and cooperation. Instead, you have chosen violence and resistance." Jake watched the broadcast from the command center. That had been built underneath Phoenix. His enhanced senses could detect lies in voice patterns, and everything about the alien leader screamed deception and rage. "We no longer request your cooperation. We demand it. You will surrender all individuals with enhanced genetic markers within 24 hours, or we will begin harvesting your population centers directly. We have been patient with your primitive species, but our patience is at an end." The broadcast showed images of massive ships moving into position over every major city on Earth. These were not the smaller vessels they had been fighting, but enormous harvesting platforms designed to process millions of humans at once. Colonel Harrison turned to Jake and the other enhanced humans gathered in the command center. "This is it. If we don't stop them now, they'll start taking people by the thousands." Dr. Foster had been working around the clock with her team of scientists, studying captured alien technology and the continuing evolution of enhanced humans. "I have good news and bad news," she announced. "Bad news first," Jake said. "The harvesting ships have energy shields that our conventional weapons can't penetrate. Even our enhanced humans can't get close enough to damage them." "And the good news?" Dr. Foster smiled for the first time in weeks. "The enhancement process in humans has reached a critical stage. Jake, Maria, Ben, Lisa, and about 50 others are showing signs of a final evolutionary leap. Your energy signatures are becoming so powerful that they might be able to overload the aliens' entire technological network." Jake felt the truth of her words in his bones. Over the past weeks, His abilities had continued to develop beyond anything he had imagined possible. He could now lift objects that weighed several tons, move faster than any human should be able to move, and process information at superhuman speeds. But more than that, he could feel energy patterns around him and somehow influence them. What would we have to do? Maria asked. All enhanced humans would need to work together simultaneously. Channel your energy signatures through amplification devices we've built using captured alien technology. If it works, you'll create a feedback pulse that will disable every Zilani device within the solar system. And if it doesn't work, Ben asked. Dr. Foster's expression grew serious. The energy discharge would probably kill every enhanced human on the planet. Jake looked around the room at the people who had become his family over the past months. Enhanced humans from every country and background, united by the changes in their biology and their determination to save humanity from alien predators. Long do we have to decide? Lisa asked. The aliens start their harvesting operation in 18 hours, Colonel Harrison replied. If we're going to try this, we need to begin preparations now. Jake stood up and walked to the center of the room. I vote we do it. Jake, Maria said softly. You understand what Dr. Foster is saying. This will probably kill us. I understand, Jake replied. But look what we've become. Look what the aliens accidentally created when they tried to make us compatible for breeding. He gestured to the enhanced humans around him. We're stronger, faster, and smarter than any human in history. We can do things that should be impossible, and we're still evolving. Lisa pulled up data on her computer. Jake's right. The enhancement process isn't stopping. We're becoming something new, something the aliens never expected. The question is, Jake continued, do we use what we've become to save humanity, or do we let the aliens turn our entire species into breeding stock? One by one, the enhanced. Humans in the room stood up to show their agreement. Maria was first, followed by Ben, then Lisa, then all the others. They had been ordinary people just months before. Now they were humanity's last hope. Dr. Foster and her team worked through the night to prepare the amplification devices. Enhanced humans spread out to locations around the globe, each carrying equipment that would let them channel their energy into a coordinated pulse. Jake's position was on top of the highest building in Phoenix, with a clear view of the alien harvesting ship hovering over the city. As the sun rose on what might be humanity's last day of freedom, he could see similar ships over cities across the horizon. All stations report ready, came Colonel Harrison's voice through Jake's communication. Device. Jake closed his eyes and felt for the energy that had been growing inside him since that first blood donation. It was like touching a live wire, but instead of electricity, it was pure life force. The same energy that had enhanced his strength and speed could now be focused and directed. Remember, Dr. Foster's voice came through the communicator. You need to channel everything you've got into the amplification device at exactly the same moment. If the timing is off, the pulse won't be strong enough to affect their main ships. Jake opened his eyes and looked up at the massive alien vessel. Above him, inside that ship, were Zilani scientists and soldiers who thought humans were nothing more than useful animals. They had traveled across the galaxy, destroying species and using their genetic material to keep their own civilization alive. All enhanced. Humans, prepare for energy discharge, Colonel Harrison's voice commanded. Jake placed his hands on the amplification device Dr. Foster had built. It was a strange combination of human and alien technology that hummed with stored energy. 3, 2, 1, execute. Jake poured everything he had into the device. All the enhanced strength, all the impossible speed, all the superhuman awareness that had been building inside him for months. He felt the same energy coming from enhanced humans all around the planet, channeled through similar devices and focused into a single coordinated pulse. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. Every alien ship in the sky suddenly went dark. Their energy shields flickered and died. Their weapons powered down. Their communication systems went silent. The massive harvesting platforms that had been preparing to process millions of humans began falling from the sky, but Jake didn't feel like he was dying. Instead, he felt like he was being reborn. The energy discharge triggered something in every enhanced human simultaneously. Jake felt his consciousness expand and connect with Maria, Ben, Lisa, and all the others around the world. For a moment, they were not individual people, but part of something larger and more complex. When the connection faded, Jake realized he was still alive, more than alive. The energy pulse had not killed the enhanced humans, but had completed their transformation into something new. Jake looked at his hands and saw that his skin now had a faint luminescence. His senses were sharper than ever before, and he could feel energy patterns throughout the city with perfect clarity. But more importantly, he could sense the other enhanced humans around the world, as if they were all connected by invisible threads. Dr. Foster's voice came through the communicator, filled with excitement and wonder. "Jake, are you there? The energy readings are incredible. You're all showing biological signatures, unlike anything we've ever measured." "I'm here," Jake replied, and his voice carried harmonics that had not been there before. "We're all here, and we're not human anymore." Over the following days, as the disabled alien ships crashed or drifted powerlessly in orbit, the truth of what had happened became clear. The Zelani had been trying to create a hybrid species that combined human adaptability with their own advanced genetics. Instead, they had accidentally triggered an evolutionary leap that made humans into something far beyond what either species had been. Jake and the other transformed humans, now calling themselves the Enhanced, had lifespans measured in centuries instead of decades. Their minds could process information faster than the most advanced computers. Their bodies could adapt to hostile environments and extreme conditions. Most importantly, they retained their essential humanity while gaining abilities that made them capable of traveling between stars. The surviving Zelani, now powerless and stranded on their disabled ships, were forced to reveal the full scope of their civilization's crimes. They had been traveling the galaxy for thousands of years, finding species with useful genetic traits and harvesting them into extinction. Hundreds of worlds had been stripped of life to feed the Zelani's desperate attempt to avoid their own. Evolutionary dead end. Prime geneticist Theth Prime, captured when his command ship crashed in the Pacific Ocean, was brought before the Enhanced for judgment. "You do not understand," the alien leader said, his crystalline features cracked and dull without the energy that had once made him beautiful. "We were preserving the best of each species, creating something greater than the sum of its parts.